Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And today we're talking about NVIDIA. And of course, NVIDIA has been rallying off the charts, as you can tell from this chart on finviz.com. We're trading at $126 per share right now, which if you would have bought this stock, and this is something I've researched just a tad here, it doesn't take much, but all you have to do is look back at the previous history of 2019 and you can see that split adjusted. So this is after the split adjusted price of $126 per share. This stock is up over 3,000% in the last 5 years. Now, keeping that in mind, in 2019, you could have bought this stock for, as you can see, on September 20th, 2019, $4 and let's say 50 cents per share. Now, obviously, fast forwarding, the stock price starts to go up and we have $10 plus per share. Now we're trading at over $120 per share. What's interesting about this, and let's just say you put $50,000 into the stock at that price. So you invested 10,000 shares at a price of $5 per share, let's call it. And this is back in 2019 when the stock was super cheap. And of course, back then, you could have argued that it was starting to go up from where it was previously trading. Because if you look back at the history of NVIDIA, what's interesting is that even going back to like the early 2000s, you can see that you would have bought this stock under $1 per share. But who's willing to hold this stock for so long just to get this type of return back in 2021? Then you have a huge sell-off and you have to wait until 2024, 2025 to get that type of return. Most people are not, right? So that's the entire point. But if you are willing to hold that long and you do in fact end up having a large position, let's say now that you invested $50,000 back at $5 a share, and now you have 10,000 shares. Well, what's interesting is that you can actually go ahead and, let me get this pulled up here for you, but you can go ahead and sell to open 100 contracts. That's 10,000 shares because each options contract is going to be 100 shares for you. So that's 100 options contracts times 100 is 10,000 shares. So we have a call option. Basically, we're selling to open. And we're going out roughly 1 month because as I'm making this video, it's June 22nd. So soon to be June 23rd, Sunday, Monday, going into next week. And then we have the last week before July 4th. So basically, we're kind of looking at this about a month out is the point. So we have a strike of $120 per share. And the current stock price is $126. So what we're doing here is we're essentially selling an in-the-money call option. Now, assuming you have 10,000 shares and you want to take some profits, you can actually make a pretty good amount of money just for being willing to sell your shares at $120 per share. So the point is, if we take this bid price, for example, and we go ahead and decide to sell our shares at $120 or agree to do so at that strike price within the next month up until July 19th, 2024, what we can do is actually collect over $100,000 while doing so. So even after commissions, as you can see, the $65 in commissions, we're earning over $110,000 just from entering this trade. And this is what is amazing about options, because you can actually exit positions while you're collecting premium or income in the process. And so if you look at $110,000, that could be an entire year's salary for somebody, right? So that could be a very good salary in that regard, or a decent middle class or upper middle class income, depending on where you live, right? So the point is $110,000 just from being willing to sell your $50,000 initial position because you got in so early and you got there before everybody else. And so, of course, you're banking off NVIDIA stock. And what's happening now is that your position is actually worth over $1 million on paper. But why not sweeten the deal and go ahead and sell your 10,000 shares at a strike price of $120 per share? And worst case, NVIDIA keeps going up and you still cash out at $120 per share. So the point is, like, even if NVIDIA goes down under $120, you keep your shares in that case. Because the key with a covered call, and I have a lot of education on dailyinvestmentadvice.com, check it out. It's my website that I've created basically to help you as an investor. And the entire goal of this website is to take education that is not traditionally taught in the education system and to help investors across the globe. So our website is available in currently 14 languages. And basically what we have here is daily education, insights, recommendations to help all investors, regardless of what their goals are. So the point is, if you invest $500 or you invest $50,000 into a stock, we want to help you as an investor achieve your goals long term and learn education that is not taught in the traditional school system. That being said, if we go back here, how do we actually make money from NVIDIA by liquidating our position? Because remember, we bought this stock early, so 24x essentially, or you could say 5 divided by 120, which is where we're going to be selling our shares, is 24x. So regardless of what happens, we're making $110,000 on our position, initial investment, and on top of that, we're selling for essentially over 20x. Nothing. If you've held and done nothing on NVIDIA since 2015 or since 2019, since 2020, regardless, you've still made absolute bank. I mean, at this point, like, you could sell your entire position and you could make, if you invested $50,000 initially at, let's say, $5 a share, you can make $110,000 just by cashing this position out, doing nothing else at $120 per share. Once again, this is selling a covered call, 10,000 share position, and we're doing this because we've made so much money on the upside. Now, maybe you're not in this situation, fair enough, but the point is, like, this can be done for anybody. Assuming you're in the right circumstances, you might be watching this video and you might have actually bought this stock early on, and now you're like, how do I profit the most from this stock? I want to take profits, but I don't know how. Do I just dump my entire position? You could just enter into this trade and go from there. But of course, consider your own risk tolerance, your own investing goals, and everything else. But this is so fascinating to me because you've literally done nothing. You've held on to your shares, but you're now making huge amounts of money. This is how the rich get richer. I mean, ultimately, you either can complain about it or you can do something about it. And the way you do something about it is by becoming an owner in these companies and then actually using options and whatever else is necessary to make either passive income, or you can ride up the appreciation, sell by doing a cash secured put, covered call. You know, there's different strategies, and we can talk about all of this. This one is a covered call strategy where we're liquidating our position, and worst case, we're selling at $120 a share. So research this. Check out Daily Investment Advice. We have a lot of free education on covered calls, options, all that kind of stuff. You can come on over to education, options trading, covered calls, cash secured puts, the wheel strategy, spreads, all of that. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Hope you guys learned something today. I know it's one of those deals where not everybody's going to have a position size like this, obviously. Not everybody's going to have $1 million invested in NVIDIA. But if you do, then perhaps you could actually profit big time from this, just from doing this covered call strategy. And worst case, you know, nobody ever went broke by taking a profit. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. God bless, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.